What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today. It is the 7th day of August, and here we are at about 116.3K with just under 12 hours left in the day. It's nice to make these midday videos, right? We get the beginning of the day and the midday videos. I actually really do enjoy that. It works out well with my sleep schedule. Here we are, 116.3K now, 11 hours, 43 minutes left in the day. Looking like we want to move up. I don't know if I said it already or not, but hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't. There's been some big news that came out over the past couple hours, which is that Trump will sign a executive order today, the 7th, I believe, that allows for 401k retirement plans to incorporate crypto into them, which is huge, you guys. That's freaking huge. That's massive, right? You've got generations that exist now, generations that will exist in the future, that will now have access to crypto by default in their 401k. That's pretty big stuff, man. I mean that's the kind of thing that, not financial advice, not a financial advisor, that you would expect, buy the hype, sell the news. So I wouldn't be surprised if we did drop down a little bit after this, but maybe we pump up a little bit more first. That announcement came out on this 1 hour candle here, and then we've topped off. Maybe we're going to sell the news now. I don't know. But long term, that's going to have such bullish implications. This is just adding to the mayhem to the upside, and I think that we're going to continue to rally here. Personally, I don't believe that this is the top. I mean, well, obviously it's not the top. We're gonna continue going higher, but I don't think it's the top today. I think that we're gonna go a little bit higher than that. I do anticipate that we'll see targets above 117K today, but time will tell. If we're looking at these Bitcoin liquidation levels, on the 1 day time frame here, there are some longs to take out down at about 115.2K. I think these have actually deleveraged because whenever I looked at this, when we were at 116.7K, because we were just up there, I was looking at these things. There was a little bit more of a level of liquidity here, and it looks like it went down ever since we dropped a little bit. So maybe some of them got cleared out, or they just deleveraged. There are some shorts to be cleared out at 117K. Over the past day, we do have $3 billion in longs, about $1.6 billion in shorts piled on, so the longs have it. But on the last 7 to 30 day period, oh wow, the 7 day period, the longs actually do have it now. That's different. That's new. Wow. So maybe we do. Maybe there is some bearish recourse because of that. We come back down to about 115.2K. That doesn't mean we have to do it right now. Not yet. It doesn't have to happen. We could absolutely continue to decimate the shorts before that happens. 117.8K or even 118K could be where we go. We'll save that and put that in our back pocket for later. We'll see. But the 30-day time frame, the shorts are absolutely eclipsing the longs, right? I mean, we get over this past this first initial wave of liquidations. We don't include the trickling. That's about $8.2 billion of longs, versus here we get past that and we don't include the trickling stuff. It's about 16.5. So it's about 2 to 1. Over the past month, the shorts are piled on. There's a lot of money to be cleared out if we move up, but it's not going to be a straight line, right? I mean, it can be. You never know. The liquidation levels don't account for everything, and they're not the arbiters of the sole truth in the universe. But I mean, we could just move up. We've done it before. There were probably a lot of longs piled on whenever we were here at the beginning. Maybe not. There was probably a lot of shorts, but as we got to this point, there's probably a lot of longs, and we still went up from this price all the way up to 123K. I think that we will go to 123K. To clear out this whole complex here, that's about $125,000. So. And then as you move up, more shorts will be piled on at higher levels, pushing these liquidation levels back. But I digress. You guys already know what's going on with that, hopefully. Looking at this here, we back tested this. What you're going to get for the bears who are copacetic, they're coping hard right now. Unless in the next, you guys, everything that I'm about to say, it will be invalidated if over the next 11 hours 39 minutes we come back down. Okay, just understand that if we come back down and close today red, we have half a day left. If we can move up this much in half a day, we can definitely move down this much. We even moved up the first part of the day. We actually moved down and then we moved up more. So we could absolutely come back down by the end of the day. I don't think that's what's going to happen. We're going to look at the short-term stuff in a second, but what I was trying to say before I got distracted was all the bears here were saying, oh, look, we found resistance at prior support. That means we're going to go down. We're definitely going to go down. And I myself said that too. I was curious to see if we'd see a lower low, but that wasn't the call. We like quite literally called for this exact area. We were pretty freaking spot on, man. We spanked it. And then ever since then, we've been bullish. Cautiously bullish in my last video. You know, it was kind of uncertain, but I was definitely leaning to the bullish side. It was a make it or break it moment, and we made it. We made it. You're going to hear those same people who were bearish saying, oh, that means we're going lower. They're going to say the same thing here. Look, we're finding resistance at prior support. And then they're going to say the same thing here. And then once that's done, they're going to say, look, we're finding resistance at prior resistance. And then once that's done, they're going to say, look, it's a double top. They're going to be bearish all the way up, and they're just going to miss this whole rally. And maybe for a time at each of these levels, there will be resistance, like we're finding now, like we found there. But higher highs, higher lows the whole way. You know what I mean? That's just how it's going to be. 116.3K right now. Let's look at the. Actually, there's something else before we get into the short term stuff I want to point out. And this is a little bit woo woo, a little bit, but Sturgeon moon past 10 years. Yeah, let's do that. Past 10 years. This moon that's coming up, the full moon, I believe it's on the 9th, so 2 days. It's the 7th right now. 2 days from now will be, you know, when is the next full moon? And I was talking to someone about this. I was actually talking, the 9th. I was talking to someone about this. I know it seems kind of woo-woo crazy stuff, right? But the moon, whether you believe it or not, I mean, you can do all the research you want. There's empirical evidence that the moon does have an effect on our psychology. It does, and it makes a lot of sense, right? We've developed with the moon. I mean, the sun has an effect on our psychology, right? If you're inside and living in a cave, you're probably going to be depressed. It's not. But if you're out in the sun, you're happy. I mean, there's people who literally heal physically from being out in sunlight and stuff like that. You know, like it's the sun is good for your psychology. The moon has psychological effects as well. And whenever it's a full moon, whether you believe it or not, I mean, you just probably haven't done enough research, but there's empirical evidence that shows that it does affect our psychology. It really is a thing. You know, crime goes up whenever there's full moons, and some people say, well, that's just because it's brighter out, right? So it's brighter out, so we're doing things later, so we're sleep deprived, whatever. But the thing is, we live in the modern world, right? The moon, and I'm just going over a whole different thing here, but I've done some research on this stuff, and I used to actually, let's say, garden, so I know what I'm talking about. But the moon, the full moon, if you're growing, let's say you're growing some plant life, you need to submerge those plants in complete and utter darkness. They can't have any light at all, no light leaks at all, because that can cause problems for the plants. Not all plants, but certain plants of the Colorado variety, if you know what I'm talking about, and that can cause some problems for them if there's any light leaks. Whether you know what I'm talking about or not is not relevant, but just trust when I tell you. These plants grow naturally. When the moon is out, the light from the moon does not affect them. The light from the moon is so weak. So if it's a matter of the moon being light, that affects our psychology. All I'm saying is I have a grand point. Okay, stick with this. I know it sounds woo-woo, but just stick with this. Okay, you're going to learn something here. It's valuable, because if we're going for the moon having a psychological effect on the markets, and that's what we're going for right now, psychological effect on you, and the markets are a reflection of our psychology. This is important to understand, right? It's just like why I dissect things in the fibs, why we go to a certain place up and down. If the moon's lumens are not enough to upset the natural balance of the daytime nighttime order for plant life, right? The lumens are so weak, but light, artificial light like we create, is strong enough to disrupt that. Then I would say, because we're in the modern era, at night, whenever you're out at night, any light that you see at a club, at the bar, street lights, those are going to have more of an effect on your psychology as far as lumens go than the full moon would. So it's not that. And even if it was that, then that would still have an implication on your psychology. I don't know how much sense this makes or not, but we're about to wrap this up. All I'm saying is I don't know what the reason is, but it's an undeniable fact that the moon being full has some kind of effect, positive or negative. Things seem to get weird around the full moon, you know, with people. Maybe in a good way, maybe in a bad way. I mean, again, crime goes up and stuff like that. But there's indisputable evidence that around the full moon, things get a little bit weirder for humans, right? And that we do have these let's say, psychological cycles with it, right? It's a thing. Understanding that, and whether you believe anything that I just said or not, I would say the people who don't believe what I just said, they probably haven't done their research, which is fine. Be skeptical. Do your own research. Come back to me. The people that understand what I'm saying, even if you haven't done research, well, I appreciate your trust in me, but hopefully you've done your research, right? You're not just taking things for granted. But looking at this now, we're going to go over the past 10 years of the full moon, okay? And we're going to see what impact that had on the market. And it's not just any full moon, right? It's the Sturgeon moon specifically, which, the buck moon, which is the one that we just had. I don't know why these things are named. I mean, they're named after animals, whatever. There's a pink moon, a worm moon, whatever. That one actually tends to be bullish. This one, I think, actually tends to be bearish. So that there's a reason we're talking about this, because we're pumping now. Might have a little bearish halt, but it's volatile. It's like we'll pump into it and then dump. You'll see, but it's not a crazy dump. You'll see. I was looking at this already. So past 10 years, we're going to go August 29th, August 18th, August 7th, August 26th. No, wait. 2015. That's not right. Let's do 2024. We're going to do this in reverse order. 19th, 1st, 11th, 22nd. 19, 1, 11, 22. 19, 1, 11, 22. Let's do that. So, that was my cat. Hi, Mufasa. Let's see. 19 in 2024. 19 there. And then we go to 2023. Let's see. 1, August 1st. That's my cat. Hi, Mufasa. 1, 11. And we won't go through all of them just because I want to save some time and move on with the actual analysis here. But it's relevant, man. It's relevant. Because we have the full moon coming up on the 9th. 11. And then 22. 22 right over here. Okay. Okay, so, and we could keep going back, but the results will more or less be the same. I looked at all this, yesterday just for funsies. Looking at Bitcoin here, back in 2021, we had the Sturgeon moon, okay? This was in the middle of a bear cycle, or actually just before the bear cycle, to be completely fair, in the middle of a bull cycle. We did pump up going into the moon, and then we dumped going out of it, right? Inevitably continued to pump and rally, and we had a little dump afterwards, but I don't know if this is an effect of the full moon or not. I'm not going to go with that, but I mean, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Maybe it's the effect of the next full moon. I don't know. But here, a little pump going into it, and then a dump. Okay, notice that that's what happened. Here we go to the next one. You had a little pump going into it, and then a dump afterwards, right? Maybe immediately afterwards, but also like within the week after. Okay, we go here. You had a little pump going into it, a little bit more boring, but a dump afterwards relative to this move, right? And then a bigger dump later. But again, is this, I guess that would be relative to this full moon, maybe not. I don't know. I don't know if I would consider that to be relevant. That could just be something else, but maybe it is relevant. But still, nonetheless, relative to these movements, pump into it, dump afterwards, right? And then this one here, we did move up into it. We actually pumped a little bit afterwards, but then a dump afterwards as well, right? So whether it's a big dump, a small dump like the one that we just saw recently before, we are pumping into it. We're completing that thought, and I'm just saying, for whatever reason, and if you keep going back, you'll see the same results. I think there was one out of the past 10 full moons for the Sturgeon moon specifically, that we didn't see a result like that. And just because that's what we've seen in the charts does not mean that that's what we have to see now. Past results do not guarantee future results, right? But it's just a thought. And here we are pumping into it right now. The 9th is Saturday. It is the weekend. Weekends we can consolidate. And Saturdays specifically, actually, if we look at our past few Saturdays, I probably lost a lot of people with the woo-woo stuff, didn't I? But that's okay, man. Maybe you learned something. Maybe you appreciate it. Maybe you don't. I don't care. I'm going to talk about what I want to talk about. I guess we had a green Saturday. I thought that we had a red Saturday the Saturday before. But let's see here. Saturday here. Yeah, that was a red Saturday. Let's look at this. Saturday there was red as well. Not too red. Very boring, but still. Okay, green. And then here, Saturday was green as well. Oh, okay. So for some reason I thought I thought I did this analysis, but maybe I just saw what I wanted to see. One red Saturday, two green Saturdays, 2 to 2, 3 to 2, 3 to 3, 4 to 2. So it's actually pretty 50-50. So maybe the fact that we just had a red Saturday implies that we have a green Saturday. I don't know. The Sturgeon moon is on Saturday, so we likely would pump into it, and then afterwards, maybe next week, that would make sense, right? Because Sundays have also been good to us over the past few weeks now. I mean, like over the past month and a half now. We might pump up. This pump might actually continue into the weekend. We'll get a lower low or a lower high, something like that, above 117, 118K, maybe even up to 119K. And then over the week, next week, Monday, we should be dumping down. That's my thoughts. So if you stuck with all the woo-woo nonsense, hopefully it makes complete and total sense as to why I believe we will be pumping over the weekend. Between now, Thursday, and over the weekend, we will continue to move up. Maybe tomorrow's a red day, very neutral day. Maybe Saturday's even a neutral red day. But I would think that we continue to pump over the weekend, and then Monday, Tuesday, we probably dump back down. Where are we going to dump to? I would think maybe back to these areas, maybe even a little bit below this. We could go back to 115K or 114K even, but I would think we get a higher low. But so we've done the I don't know, the spiritual analysis. Now let's do the actual technical analysis, okay? And I'm not the most experted person in these things, right? There's probably a bunch of people who are moon experts that are gonna slaughter me in the comments because I got some stuff wrong. I don't know, man. I'm a basic chart monkey. I see what it did before and I'm applying that now as a possibility, not as something that I believe undeniably will happen, but from a statistical point of view, I accept it as a possible reality or realistic outcome. We don't need the 15-minute time frame, actually. Let's look at the 1 hour time frame. Okay, we're going to get into my realm now. Okay, we're going to step away from the moon and step into the TA, the real magic. No, it's all real magic, man. 1 hour MACD does look bullish as hell, you guys. We were reaching for the zero and we found support. We're coming up. We could be seeing a double top of sorts. We saw that before. We've even had that here, but with a lower high. It could be a relative moment to top off. That doesn't mean that we have to go like dramatically lower, but I mean, who knows? Maybe we're seeing a moment like this where we rally and we continue to rally. Something like that could be happening. But I would think here, we're probably coming to a point of resistance. Looking at the RSI, we've gotten overbought. That's actually the most overbought on the 1 hour RSI that we've been. Let's see, how long has it been? That's the second most overbought that we've been. I think throughout this whole range, guys. Yeah, throughout this whole damn consolidation range. So that's nice. The last time that we were up this high, we did continue to grow. We saw a little bit of growth, right? We came down a little bit, but then we continued to grow, and then inevitably, topped off and went lower. The stochastics, whenever the RSI was here, the stochastics were overbought, and the MACD. Hey, look, we had that double top. That was one of those moments that I circled. So I'm just saying there. It doesn't have to be that way, but I would anticipate, especially with this level of histogram growth, I would expect that this move continues on. I don't think that it stops here, right? When I say continues on, does that mean it goes like this? Maybe. Probably not like that. You probably, you had your initial pop, and now you like slowly raise something above 117K. That's what I'm anticipating personally. And I think, let's look at this on a 7-day period real quick. It upsets some people that I drink from a gallon. Yes, microplastics, I know. I know, man. I know. They're in all of us anyways, and I don't know. It's good water. It comes from Colorado. I live in Colorado. The amount of microplastics in this compared to the average bottle of water is probably greatly diminished because it's just fresh, right? And it's some of the best water you'll ever taste, damn it. Like literally, if you're ever in Colorado, get some El Dorado spring water. Tell me it's not the best water you've ever had in your life. It's literally, it comes from a spring that's like 200 or 400 feet below ground. It's so good. It is so good, man. It's literally, I think they even say it on here. Let me see, hold on. Voted best tasting water in the world. I don't know by who, but they got it going on. Yeah, El Dorado spring water. Buy some at your local Colorado store today. I should do advertisements like that, right? Like, talk about a hole-in-one. Name that movie if anybody knows. Let's see here. Product placement. We're looking for 117K, right? So, okay, so this liquidation level here does take us to about $118,000 actually. Maybe we eat through all of it or the majority of it, or something just below 118K, or maybe we do push into 118, 119K. Something like that could happen. Rationality there, right? Rationality to the upside, rationality to where we might go in the upside, right? Somebody told me that I shouldn't use this stuff because it clouds my judgment. But man, if you've been watching the past week's worth of videos, guys, I've been pretty on it. And we've been using this every damn day. It's not that I use this to determine what direction the price is going to go. I just oh my God. I just determine where the price is going to go in the TA, and then I use this to help agree with a price area, something, you know? I mean, quite literally, it was the liquidation level that helped us pinpoint this exact low here. And I was off by $1,000, but this exact low here as well. Anyways, 116.4K, that with the TA, though. Of course, it can't just be by itself. Don't just look at this and think you know what you're talking about. You got to do the TA too, man. It's a give and take. If we're looking at this from a high to a low here, and assuming that we're in a bullish posture with all of these, which we absolutely undeniably are, hit the 1272 here. We went up, down, all around, came back, found support at the golden ratio. Now we're moving up. I would think we continue up to the golden ratio here. Golden ratio to golden ratio, pretty common endeavor there. We wicked above the 1272, but we closed right at it. Oh, this is just so heartbreaking. It's very possible. I don't know, guys. I mean, it's very possible like this. We could see a move down that's very similar to that. And if we were to do that, that would take us back down to about 115.7K. And if we go down there, we find support, we could still continue to move up. That's what, I mean, that wouldn't agree with my thoughts on this. I don't think that we're going to see a move like that, because I really don't think that we're going to top off here. But it could happen. It could happen. It's very possible. I would think it's going to be more like something like this, where you had your initial move up and then you just slowly are climbing. Like this is your initial move here maybe, and then you slowly climb, but time will tell. We'll see how it goes. The rest of the world hasn't woken up yet, so I think, the stock market opens 8 o'clock, which is 1.5 hours from where I am right now. Or is it 7:30 that they open up? What time? Let me see. What time does the stock market open in Mountain Time? What time is it? Let's see. Is it 7:30? I feel like it is 7:30. Yeah, it is 7:30. Okay, so not 8 o'clock, 7:30. So in about an hour, stock market will open. That could actually cause the price to pump a little bit more right now. And I've noticed that over the past couple of days. That's actually been exactly what happens. So, or dump sometimes, but 117.7K, that's the area that I'm feeling the most frisky about. If not there, then 118 to 119K is very possible, right? Liquidation levels make sense over that. And then also, we've shown a lot of respect at our 1886200 levels throughout this whole range, right? I mean, here, just look at this from a low to a high. I think I'm just taking a shot in the dark here. This one will go to the 2272 or something, but let's just see. Okay, you did go to your 2272, but still, point proven, you did find significance on your 1886 there momentarily before going lower. You can go back through this and find there's various moments where we do show significance on that level as well. High to low here, found a little bit of resistance here, consolidated below the 1618, and then continued to go higher. Oh, that's right. I remember now, because we did this. We did this in one video where I was taking all these little pivotal points, and we actually do typically go above the 1886 or below the 1886. Oh, that's interesting then. But this is a larger kind of pivotal point, so I don't know if I'd weigh too much on the idea of going to 119K or more. I mean, inevitably, yes. But by the end of this move, I'm thinking 117.7 to 119K. That's probably exactly where we'll go. So that's what I'm sticking with, okay? Then we'll find some volatility. It'll be just enough to keep the bears bearish, right? We'll find a lower high. I really do like the idea of going to 119, 118K. We'll find a lower high. It's just a lower high, guys. We're going to come back down and form a lower low. It'll validate. And then what's going to happen is, instead of that, we're going to find a higher low. It's going to be a higher low in regards to this or something like that. Maybe we even break through this trend line. We find a higher low still, and then we move up and we get ready to break that. I do expect some volatility. Again, the Sturgeon moon afterwards, we do get some volatility depending on the scale, right? And this scale is a little bit larger than some of those relative neutral price action zones. Anyways, let's go to the 4-hour time frame, okay? 4-hour time frame here. RSI, come on now. RSI is at an area that it likes to find resistance. You've been pretty bullish though. You know, doing this where you go from the 60 to the 40 and then you pick a side, you went above the 60, I would think you get overbought, man. You guys, we haven't been overbought since we reached for our all-time highs. We haven't been overbought since this movement here. Something different's going on, man. Look at these readings in the stochastics. Look at how much more consistently bullish we are right here than we have been throughout any of this, right? We haven't seen this type of consistency since this move over here as well. We're crossing above the zero on the MACD. Oh my goodness, you guys. We got some bullish things going on, y'all. 3 hours left in this 4-hour time frame. Guess what? We started off to the downside. That makes me think we're going to move up, man. I don't think this move stops here. All right, looking at this 4-hour from a high to a low. Come on now. There we go. All right. High to low, get the high. We're right above the 382. You guys, Bitcoin has been doing this thing where it kind of disregards its 382. No, don't get me wrong, though. We've already kind of shown respect in this area a couple times. And it just goes right up to its 0.5. We've actually done this thing throughout this range where, and even before, where we'll go to the 0.5 and then back down to the 236. Wouldn't that be perfect? We go to the 0.5, we find a lower high in this range, and then we break below the ascending trend line here, only to find support of the 236 and then rally. Right? Something like that could happen. Maybe we go higher. Maybe we do go all the way up to 118 to 119K. I don't know. I'm thinking I really do like this 0.5 area though. 117, maybe even a little bit above there. It's kind of weird. Kind of weird. Let's get a high to low again. I want to see what lines up with what. I mean, 117.7 looks good. I'm nowhere more convinced now that we'll stop at 117.7 or 119K. I don't know, but something in this range is calling me, man. I think, and there's a lot of significance here. Sure, you know, inevitably we will come up here and we'll probably find resistance here. But do we move up first and then move down and then move up? I'm not entirely positive on that now. Curious though, very curious. Looking at the 4-hour time frame, MACD is bullish. MACD is bullish as hell. It's super bullish, you guys. We've been green for days now, like 4 days now. We've been absolutely stunning on the MACD, and we're crossing above the zero. This is a powerful move. It absolutely is. Let's look at the last few times we've crossed above the zero, what that implied, okay? Because we're freshly, right now, the orange line is freshly crossing above the zero. So let's put this in perspective, okay? Orange line crossing there. Here we bounced off it, so it's kind of a similar prospect. And here it's crossing above, but it's really bouncing off it. It's kind of a similar idea, but let's just do specifically the crosses up. Right there, and then right there. Okay, the last two. So or I guess the last three. The last three. So right here, we did cross up. Oh, and then we topped off. Interesting. Okay. So right after that, we did cross up, and then that was actually the topping point right there. Here, we crossed up, and we continued to move up for about a day and a half. Here, we crossed up, and we continued to move for about a day and a half, 2 days probably, right? Small amount of move, big amount of move, stopped in our tracks. So that's probably a good reality of what the statistical probability is too, right? Like 2/3, maybe even 70% likelihood that you continue to grow. 1/3 or a 30% likelihood that you drop from there. That could be a topping point, right? Depends on some things, right? Here with the RSI on this last one, you rejected the overbought zone. Here with the stochastics, you were coming down already out of your overbought zone as well. So maybe stuff like that. You're not really coming down yet, and you could be rejecting your overbought zone here. You're at that same point that you were whenever you did reject. Time will tell. I think it depends then, right? We're leaving it up to this 4-hour candle. If this 4-hour closes red, maybe this is the relative high, and maybe we do then move down to about 115.5K, 114.5K, something like that, maybe even lower. But if we continue to close green on this candle, then maybe we do move up. Oh, and as I say that, we're moving down. Damn it, Bitcoin. You just don't like me anymore. Yeah, I think we're going to move up higher, guys. I'm sticking with it, right? High to low expectation for me would be 117.7K. Okay, 117.7K to 118.9K, or somewhere in that area. I would expect that we see that between now and Saturday. Okay, something like that, if not more, if not higher. It's not going to be a straight line up. We're going to have moments of consolidation like we are now. And then I think opening up next week, Monday, we should see a little bit more of a heavy correction, right? Like stuff like this or more, not stuff like this, stuff maybe stuff like this even, right? Something more. But I think at this point in time we have found our low. It's not valid yet. We don't have a absolute confirmation on that, but from a high to low here, as long as we're sorry, not that one. I always do that. From a low to a high here, as long as we are closing above this 382, I believe that we're safe. Closing above, that doesn't mean wicking, so we can wick below, but if we're closing a daily time frame above 113K, is that right? Is it 113K? Oh, wow. I'm on the wrong, I normally look at the Binance chart, but that's okay. 113K, yeah, sure. Closing above 113K, we're still fine. If we can close above 116.1K today, that would be bullish. That actually would be bullish to validate this as a low. But I think ultimately we're really waiting for 116.8K, 117K to be the final moment, the arbiter of truth, to take us to new all-time highs. Because once we close above this 236, just by the way of fibs, let me get rid of all the chicken scratch here, okay? By the way of the fibs, once you close above this 236, you've, in my opinion, validated this as a low. Oh man, but what we're doing here too, going from the 382 to the 236 for resistance, that oftentimes does implicate that we go to the 0.5 or the golden ratio area. So just be aware that that could be a relative high. If we were to go from here and then go back down to the 382, the statistical probability that we go to 110K to 105K, somewhere in that zone, would be higher than it would be that we don't go there. So just be aware of that. I don't think that's what's going to happen. We've looked at everything today, and it does suggest growth, more growth. But just saying, it can happen, okay? Just something to be prepared for. And we would know that that's happening if and when we close below 113K, right? I've got nothing else for you guys. I hope it's all clear and understood. If not, I don't know how to make it more understood, man. You need to up your comprehensive abilities or something. Some people hate it whenever I talk about the upside and the downside. They're like, so you're saying it could go up or it could go down? It's like, no, I mean, essentially, yes, it can go up or it can go down, right? That's reality. But I feel like I've painted a very clear picture of what my expectations are over the coming days, if not even over the coming weeks, for what Bitcoin's going to do. So if you can't pick up on that, that's a problem that you have, not a problem that I have. I don't have anything else for you. Hit the like button, subscribe, take care of yourselves. Bye.